His eyes were fixed on the files which were in his hand. His other hand was playing with a pen. His eyes searched the file curiously. He was so focused to even realize the time. That's when he heard a knock on the door. He answered without looking. "Come in." As he said, a person in his proper suit walked inside, grabbing some files in his hand. He bowed before speaking. "Secretary, sir, these are the files you asked for." As he heard the person, he finally lifted his head, looking at him. "Taehyung, oh thank you, Mr. Lee." He smiled at the person before taking the files from him. He began to check those files. That when his secretary spoke, gaining his attention. "Mr. Lee." "Sir," as he called it, Taehyung lifted his head. "It's getting late. I think we should leave." Taehyung grabbed his phone and switched it on while listening to Mr. Lee. "Taehyung, well, Mr. Lee, there is still some work left. Why don't we work a little more longer?" Mr. Lee gave a tight-lipped smile as he was not satisfied with the reply. "Secretary, as you said, boss," he replied before bowing. Taehyung nodded, but that's when his eyes fell on the screen, on the notification bar. "Are you going to be late?" It was a text from his beloved wife. The message was sent 1 hour ago. He stared at the phone for a while, then his eyes shifted to the wallpaper screen. It was a picture of him and his loved one, obviously his beloved partner. A smile plastered on his face. Taehyung, "Okay, Mr. Lee, as you say, we should leave. It's already late," he said before getting up from his seat. Mr. Lee let out a chuckle. "Mr. Lee, a test from your partner?" Taehyung chuckled and patted Mr. Lee's shoulder. "Good night, sir," Mr. Lee said with a slight bow. "Taehyung, good night, Mr. Lee." He grabbed his coat which was resting on the seat. He rested the coat on his arm before walking out, grabbing the car keys. She was waiting for her beloved husband for past 1 hour. While waiting for him, she didn't even realize when she fell asleep. She was sleeping in an uncomfortable position on the couch. The phone beside her buzzed, regarding she got a text from someone. "I will be there in 15 minutes." It was a text from her husband, whom she texted a while ago, asking, "Will he be late?" And seems like he finally got time to reply to her text. 15 minutes later. He finally reached his mansion. He took some steps, reaching the door before parking his car aside. First he rang the bell, but it was already 12 a.m., so he thought she might be asleep, so he used a spark key to enter. He walked inside, loosening his ties. That's when he found her asleep on the couch in an uncomfortable position. He kept his bag aside before walking towards the couch, where she was asleep. He stopped when he reached near her. He stood there staring down at her. He admired her for a minute before removing the hair off her face. He glanced the way her legs curled in an uncomfortable position. He slowly slid his hand, positioning her in a comfortable way. He kept a pillow below her head so she can sleep comfortably. He left a half looking at her tired and sleep face. He pecked her forehead before whispering, "Sleep well," in her ears. He stood up, gazing at her one last time before making his way to the shower. 20 minutes later. She slowly unclosed her eyes as she realized she accidentally fell asleep. She blinked twice to get a clear vision. When she looked at her left side of the living room, she saw her husband walking out of shower, wiping his wet hair, wearing some comfortable clothes. She spoke, gaining his attention. "Ryan, you're home? When did you come?" He smiled slightly before replying to her. "Taehyung, a while ago you were sleeping, so I went to take a shower." Ryan nodded. "Let's have dinner together." Taehyung, "Yeah, let me just send those files to my manager. I'll be joining you soon." She nodded, giving a light smile. 20 minutes later. The room was filled with silence. Both of them chewed on their food without making a conversation. He took a bite before glancing at her. She lifted her head when he spoke, breaking the silence. "Taehyung, you don't really have to wait for me every day. I might get late because of work. You should eat and sleep. Don't bother yourself for me." He spoke in his casual, soft tone. Vine shook her head. There is nothing bothering. It's just I don't like to eat alone. It's fine to get late because of work, she said, giving a light smile and showing everything is fine. Taehyung glanced toward his hand, which were holding a fork and knife. You don't have to. He lifted his head, looking at her, repeating the sentence. Taehyung, you don't have to wait for me now onwards. I'll try to finish my office work by 9 p.m. so we can have dinner together, and you don't have to wait for me till late night. A smile plastered on her face as she heard his statement. She nodded before replying to him. Ryan, just don't pressure yourself to finish it by the time. He gave a nod before continuing to eat. She looked at him with a light smile before taking a bite. Ryan Pove. He always has been cold but caring at the same time. I sometimes don't understand how he feels or what's going on in his mind. But as days passed, I started to know him, to understand him. He just doesn't know how to express his feelings. I have always noticed him hesitating to say or to start a conversation. Taeyong is just a soft soul with a cold aura. He just doesn't want to hurt anyone with his words. It's been almost a year since our marriage, but till now I never felt unloved despite of his coldness. He doesn't talk much, doesn't express much, but those few words he let out were always caring and soft. I'm happy with this marriage. I have no complaints on his cold behavior. It is just his gesture, or maybe he's just shy. Whatever it is, I'm really fine with it. All that matters is he tries his best to be a good husband. I respect his privacy and comfort, and he does as well. Probably that's why we never had a skinship or physical touches. First, I was insecure, thinking maybe he doesn't like me, but it was something else. It takes time in a relationship to get involved physically. He was very cold in the start of our marriage. He rarely used to speak with me, which little did hurt me somewhere, but I eventually tried to speak, ignoring his coldness. It was always me who used to start the conversation first, but as days passed, he started speaking frequently, more comfortably. So here we are now. He had changed a lot, showing his emotion more freely. His glance and tone are always soft when he is around me, which somehow makes me feel special. He's still shy to make any first move, but I am not. I give him quick hugs when he is leaving for work, some back hugs when he is sleeping, and I can tell that he secretly like it. I'm not shy to show any emotions, and I make sure he's comfortable. It's not like he doesn't show any emotion, he does, but when I'm not looking at him. Like giving a forehead kiss when I'm sleeping, admiring me when I'm busy in work. It's just his way of showing his love, and I surely love it. After finishing our dinner, we both went to have our precious sleep. Time skip. It was a random evening when Vine decided to do some grocery shopping. She was staring at the snack, choosing which one to buy, but her attention shifted to somewhere else when she heard some random sound of vapors. It was not something low that she could ignore. She actually felt that suspicious. She twitched her eyebrows, putting the snack in the cart from her hand, and decided to walk in the direction. She took some steps, and those random sounds just kept increasing. She took some final step before stopping at her spot. Her confused face turned to a done and expressionless one as soon as she saw the person who was making the sound. The person was quietly trying to unwrap the snack, making a loud noise, actually trying to eat it without paying. Van kept her hands on her hips, looking at the person with a done face. As soon as the person noticed someone present beside her, she mumbled, "Shit," before turning and bowing twice. "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to steal it. I was just trying to taste it." "Wait, wine?" "Wine, seriously, Chloe," Wine said with a done face, in which her friend gave an awkward laugh. "You haven't changed, have you?" Chloe, "Well, I didn't want to buy this thing but also want to know how it tastes." Curious little me. Wine shook her head before leaving a chuckle. "How are you have been, Wine?" she said, giving a hug to Wine. Wine smiled before replying. "Wine, I'm totally fine. What about you?" Chloe, "You just see me, right? I'm perfect." Wine chuckled before nodding. "Wine, you surely are. Well, it's been a while since we met." Chloe, yeah, like 4 months? Since you're too busy with your husband. Ryan chuckled. Let's have a talk while walking, she said, linking her arm with Chloe. Chloe, who was having a poker face, smiled before nodding. Chloe Carter, 25 years old. She's Ryan, one of the close friends who Ryan admires a lot. She's an extrovert, mischievous, sassy queen. She was with Ryan since her high school. But as Ryan got married, they got busy in their own stuff. They often meet each other even after Ryan marriage. But this time they haven't saw each other for like 4 months straight, as they were busy with their own things. But today they accidentally and fortunately met each other in a convenience store where Ryan caught her stealing some snacks. They made their way out of the store having their little chit chats to replace the absence of being away for 4 months. They walked far away from the store, still keeping their conversation on. Time skip at a cave. Thank you. They thanked the cafe barista before grabbing their own coffee cups. Van took a sip. So, tell me about you. Van asked, resting her elbows on the table. Chloe, nothing much, just busy with my job. I leave at morning 10 and return by evening. Later I do skincare and sleep having my dinner. It's kinda difficult. Van nodded. Have you found your date yet? Chloe, are you serious, girl? I can barely give time to myself and forgot about date. Van chuckled. Alright. Chloe, forget about me. What about you though? Van lifted her head looking at Chloe. Did you and Taehyung went somewhere to spend some time alone? Ryan sighed. Well, he's busy with his work, but I'm sure he will take time for that. Chloe rolled her eyes. That cold jerk. Ryan chuckled. Chloe, I mean, is he serious? He literally has a beautiful wife at home, but work is more important for him. You just give him divorce. Why laugh? Calm down, girlie. I'm literally fine. Also, I love spending time at home with books and stuff. I'm always busy and he always calls me, so don't worry about it. Chloe, as you say, ma'am. But make sure you call me too. If you take 4 months to meet me again, you will see my dark side. She folded her arms. Ryan, oh my god, I'm scared, she said in a sarcasm tone before laughing. I'll make sure to call you and meet you, alright? Chloe, fine. She smiles. Cheers. She brought the coffee cup front. Ryan smiled before doing cheers. Time skip. 1 hour later. Ryan checked the time on wristwatch and looked at Chloe. Ryan, I didn't even realize the time with you. It's already been 2 hours since I came out. Chloe, alright, I should leave as well. I have some files to finish. Ryan nodded before standing up. Chloe stand up along with her. They both gave goodbye hugs. Chloe, let's meet again. Ryan, sure, bye. Chloe, yep. Both of them waved before walking in their own separate ways.